أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Chapter 81 tonight, 29 verses, the rolling, and we're going to finish it inshallah. Okay, very good. So here we are.
Start the recording.
Yes. So we are going to go ahead and start reading. Okay. 6 uninitial surah that was revealed, 7th that revealed overall, and 52nd in the uninitial surahs, and 81 in the 52 is the compilation version, which is we are reading in this order, and then 81 is overall. Okay, so very good. And by the way, these WMAs don't work here for some reason. I get a message that somebody has tampered with it, so I cannot replay it. All right, very good. Okay, go ahead, please, Manda.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. When the sun is rolled away, and when the stars stop shining, and when the mountains are set in motion, and when the reproduction is discontinued, and when the animals are summoned, and when the oceans boil over, and when the souls are paired up, and when the female baby who is buried alive is asked for what crime she was killed, and when the recorders are opened, when the records are opened, and when the vacuum is ruptured, and when the inferno is ignited, and when paradise is brought nearer, every soul will know what she has prepared for herself. I therefore swear by the planets perfectly moving in their orbits, and by the night as it passes, and by the fresh breath of the morning. This is indeed the utterance of an honorable messenger, endowed with power from the possessor of the firm throne. He should be obeyed and trusted, and your friend is not crazy. And indeed, he saw him at the clear horizon, and he does not withhold any news regarding the unseen. And this is not the utterance of a rejected devil. Therefore, where are you going? Indeed, this is only a reminder for all the people. For anyone who wills from amongst you, let him go on a straight path. And you will not unless it is in accordance with God's will, Lord of the multiverse.
Okay, mashallah. Thank you so much. Okay, this is very good. And so we're here again. And are there any questions, comments, observations, any discussions? Anything at the very beginning of this revelation of the Quran, you have all of these chapters or surahs that were revealed, and to a lot of people who were listening to this, it just didn't make any sense. Okay, I mean, the sun is rolled away. What does that mean? Okay, the stars stop shining. What does that mean? When the mountains are set in motion. Okay, so all of these were events that beyond their wildest imagination, and these people had to listen to this, and this is amazing, and they listened and they believed. Okay, no questions asked, and um, when the animals are summoned. So, as I said, God does not leave anybody out. Okay, so all of these animals you see around you, okay, the donkeys, the horses, the cats and the dogs and whatever that you see and you do not see, there are animals that we do not see. Every once in a while they find a species of animal that they've never thought existed. Okay, and when the souls are paired up, and now God is telling those guys who've been killing their babies, female babies, okay, and they kill them by burying them alive. Can you imagine that? And when the female baby who was buried alive is asked for what crime she was killed, okay, and when the records are open and when the vacuum is ruptured, okay, so this is when what happens, that the sky that you see, the vacuum that you see, all of a sudden it looks like it's falling into pieces. And all of these things that happen is because God's physical existence actually is manifested in this universe. Okay? This is not because this is a balloon and it just keeps growing until it blows up. That's not the way you should think about it. That's the way that these other people think about it. We should rely on the Quranic facts. Okay? Quranic facts is telling us that the laws as we know them do not exist on that day. So whatever is making the vacuum to hold together because of the physical manifestation of God, it falls apart because the laws that were holding together do not exist any longer. Okay? That's what you should think. Okay, so here we are. Are there any questions now? So I started some discussions, maybe stimulate some people to ask questions or lead a discussion or something.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Fazely.
Walaikum assalam. Yes, Sadruddin, go ahead, please.
Sir, when you read verse 8 there, and you asked the question, can you imagine that when the female baby is buried alive? It's actually such a incredibly powerful statement that God chooses to make here, and of course, we see this happening today with babies of both genders being eliminated, and
yes,
it's just shocking that after all these years we never changed.
Nothing has changed. Yes, absolutely right. But this is about maybe 20 years ago I wrote an article on this. Okay.
I remember that.
When did the research? What's going on in India and China, chiefly, other countries like that too. Okay. And I said that back then, I'm going to repeat it again, has nothing to do with the systems that are governing these countries. Nothing. This is the wickedness of the people themselves, that they do prefer male over female. Okay? And so what they do is now, they can obviously, today they cannot, wait until it's born and then they kill it. So they go ahead and abort the fetus because now the technology is here, so we can do it. So there's no difference. That's what my point is. Okay, absolutely no difference. As a matter of fact, they had some program on PBS a few years ago, and this gynecologist lady in India was laughing. This baby is going to be alive when it's born. What am I going to do? It's a joke for them. Okay. So Yeah, so that baby would be asked for what crime she was killed. Okay, so one way or another, they get rid of it.
It's just absolute atrocity.
It is absolute atrocity, and then it creates imbalance between men and women, and then homosexuality comes in, and all kinds of evil things comes out of it. Just because we decided to change God's laws, okay, that's what God says. Okay, these are the ones who change God's creation. Now there are people who are gays or lesbians. Now they can adopt babies and everything. And today there was a huge powwow in France that abortion is fine, and everybody was laughing and hugging each other, and everybody was happy. Okay, so they call it some kind of medical thing. Okay, they don't call it so with what we can. But anyway, all of these are, as you pointed out, this is nothing has changed. Okay, it's the same thing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, thank you, sir. I think the point is very clear.
Yeah.
Salam, Dr. Fazely.
Walaikum salam, Mariam. Yes, go ahead, please.
Before I ask the question, I would like just to add a comment on what you just said.
Yes.
It's even sadder, if I can say that, is that these are women doing it and asking for it.
Yeah.
It's not men who went and forced somebody to abort or anything like that. It's that it's so sad, because in the mind of a lot of people, we think that, okay, in general, women is oppressed by the men and this and that. But actually, in this particular situation, it's women doing it to a female to another female in a wound. So that's what I want. I just wanted to make this comment because it's really sad. Dr. Fazely, the verse. All right. So the verse 12. And 13.
Yes.
So this is not so the hell and the paradise will be created at the time of the reckoning. They do not exist now. I mean, because we hear often people stating that, okay, they are already in paradise, they are already in this, but is this a physical thing, or is this like allegorical?
Yeah, I mean, it's the way I look at these things. Okay, these are the stuff that happens when the laws and the regulations, if you will, that govern this universe does not exist anymore. They do not exist anymore. So it's really, really difficult to fathom. But what I take from 12 and 13 is that it seems to me that paradise has always been there and will be there, but hell is not igniting. Let's put it that way. Okay, and so at that time, it's going to be ignited. But paradise is going to be brought closer. That means that it's going to, people can see it actually. So it has been there before. So that's again, I try to avoid before and after in these cases. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I really struggle with that, and I don't want to do it. Okay, so.
Yes.
Can
I ask another question?
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
So verse 22 and 23, and your friend is not crazy.
Yes.
Indeed, he saw him at the clear horizon. So he saw him because you put the H like uppercase. So that means he saw God.
Yeah.
So and I am assuming that he is the Prophet Muhammad.
Yes, exactly. Well, the other way around wouldn't make any sense, Maria.
Mm.
Oh, doesn't make sense? Suppose I put he capital and the other one little. Would that make sense?
Well, God, he sees us all the time, so.
God sees it all the time, exactly. So he doesn't have to go to the clear horizon for God to see him.
Yeah.
But for Muhammad, it is true, okay? He saw God in a clear horizon. So that's why
he saw God. He was able in his in this state during his mission. I understand about getting closer to God, because there is another chapter that states he got closer to him, but then he could not actually go beyond that. So, and of course, when I look at this, I always remember the story of Moses, where he wanted also to see God, but he couldn't, because he could not withstand the energy.
Yeah, exactly. You see, that's what I was trying to say, that the manifestation of God's physical presence in this world would destroy it completely.
Right.
You see, it nullifies all the laws that God has established for this. That's the point. And that's when God says that God and his angels come through these clouds. Okay, so the universe, as you see it, this vacuum is ruptured. It looks like clouds, piece of clouds. And God and his angels, that's the reason that it actually ruptures. Okay? So that's the cosmology that Quran is teaching us. Not the cosmologist that cosmologists are teaching us, okay?
Yeah, okay.
And I'm very guilty of that too, okay? But anyway.
And so, because when I read the stories of the prophets in the scripture, I always think that, yes, they all got closer to God, but they could not actually withstand his manifestation. But here, that means Muhammad was able to see God.
Well, this is Muhammad the soul. This is not Muhammad the body.
Yes.
Yeah. Because this, if you go back to chapter 53, which is the star, as the star fell away, as the stars fell away, Yeah. So when in that scene that God is describing to us, is that this happened in basically a blink of an eye.
Right.
Okay. So this was not, as I always say that these are not these Star Trek speeds or anything like that. Okay. Those are slow as molasses. This is something which actually, happened instantaneously. Okay, that's what God says. His command is done with the blink of an eye, or something like that. Okay, so those are the type of things that we have to remember, that this whole thing, this was not the body, because the body cannot take those kind of things. Okay.
Yes.
It's not designed for that.
And one last, it's actually more of a comment.
Yes.
I love the verse, which is verse 25, which is not 25, 26. Therefore, where are you going?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where is the escape? Basically, it's really.
Yep.
Every time I read this verse, it's we have all the proofs, evidence, science, and yet people. But on that day, where they're gonna go? There is no escape except to return to God. So, all right. Thank you so much, Dr. Fazely.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, thank you for your comments.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Fazely.
Wa alaikum assalam, Anwar. Yes, go ahead, please.
The verse 8 that Sadruddin was making reference to in the case of people burying their daughters alive.
Yes.
If you, with your permission, there are three verses I would like to read from chapter 43, which I find very much connected to this statement.
Okay, very good. Okay.
I may recite it if you want to. I have it.
I'll go there. I'll go there so everybody can see him. 43 what?
43, 15, 16, and 17.
Very good. Okay. Here we are.
So
okay.
There you go. They also considered some of his servants to be part of him. Indeed, the human being is manifestly unappreciative. Has he taken daughters from what he creates while granting you sons? When one of them is given the news of the same meaning a girl, as what he sees,
yes,
as what he sees fit for the all gracious, a dark shadow covers his face and it becomes full of rage, which, in my opinion, this is very ironical, leads to the burying of their daughters alive.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't gone away, and it's the same attitude today.
Yes.
Okay. People think as females are lesser of a creation. Okay, that's the problem. Yeah. And so they don't want it. They wanted boys. Okay. As I said, you look at those old TV shows from the 50s. They all had boys. Okay.
That's right.
My 3 sons. That other guy, what was his name? That fellow, Bonanza. Okay. So the same thing. Okay, had sons.
Yeah.
And the same thing. Big Valley, they had son, just one daughter who was very quiet. But anyway, this is what people prefer. This is a fact of life. So we cannot hide these things. Okay. And as I said, all of these things that we see in here and stuff is that we go to chapters. Again, go back to chapter 81, and in this chapter, okay, verse 8 that we all read, okay, together, and when the female baby was buried alive, okay, is asked for what crime she was killed. Okay. Yeah, so this is what was the crime? Okay, what was the crime? That their respect in the society that they consider as being respectable or respectful is that they have to have sons was so overwhelming to them that they were even willing to do this. That's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yep. Very true.
It's so as I said, but my attitude towards this whole thing is the following. Okay, that we have to look at our own selves. Okay, and when we recite the Al-Fatiha, okay, God, He says that إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Then we say صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. That's what we say. Okay? So yes. What are we thinking at that time? Who are these غير المغضوب? Okay? If you think about it, us, we were maghdub. We made mistakes. Okay? We have those kind of thoughts in our minds and our hearts. Okay? And so we should be grateful to God for removing those things from us and showing us the right path and showing us the thing and actually perfect it in our being. Okay? That we don't care. I mean, if you look at Muhammad only had one daughter. Okay?
Yes.
He had sons, but they died when they were young. It was another system of God, because if they were there, they would have been all idolized.
For sure.
Okay? So that is God's system, okay? And so the idea about this whole thing is that when you look at these things, is that no, should not be a source of shame for you.
Yeah.
This is a blessing that God has given us. Okay? And so we should go along with God's blessing and be grateful for what He has given us. Okay? So all of these things that we see, as I said, when I do that, when I recite Al-Fatiha, okay, I always think of myself. Okay? because I did the wrong thing, and God saved me from all of that. We could be left alone, and we would have been just like the rest of the communities that don't know what's going on, you see.
God be praised.
Yeah.
And it also explains why in so many countries of the world they still look down and maltreat women as such.
Exactly. As I said, they are less of a creation of God. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. I talked about this too. Okay, that a lot of stuff that goes on with abortion, stuff like that, is not the unique cases that they show you on television. Okay, like this lady had a baby that was completely, had some kind of defect, and had to abort it. Otherwise, it would have been a mess. Okay, I'm not talking about that. Okay, we're talking about most of the abortion that goes on is because of what? It's because of unwanted pregnancies.
Yes.
But what is the cause of unwanted pregnancy? Is it a couple who are married?
No.
Okay. This is another committing another sin before that caused this problem.
Yeah.
You're committing another sin to alleviate it.
Wow.
So what we are doing is the following, okay? As I said it in that thing, that we are looking at the organs that are supposed to be for reproductive organs, for reproduction. Yeah. We look at them as some kind of toys, okay, to be enjoyed at our whim. And that's what causes these problems. So we completely change God's creation.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, this is Parvez.
Parvez, yes, go ahead.
When I hear all this thing about, murdering these innocent babies, only one thing comes in my mind. It just reminds me of how extremely cruel human beings are. This is an example to show that we deserve hell. If you can kill a baby who's so innocent and cute, what else can we deserve in our life but hell? And another thing about having these male offspring, I think the human being looks for security and source of provisions, but they have failed to understand that God is the provider, not the sons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
These sons that they're having, at the end of the day, this is the idol. God is no more the provider. It is the sons who will provide for them, or the sons who will bring them wealth or honor or whatever feelings they want good about themselves. But God is no more God for them. Isn't that the case? They fail to understand that God is controlling the universe. He is providing, and anything that good that's going to happen to us is from Him, not from our offspring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just depicting at the end of the day the failure of the human being in mind and soul.
Yeah, the things become even more crazy than that. Anyways, see, the problem is that this, as I said, this is the male offspring is sort of somebody who carries your name. You see, so you are really, longing for eternity. You want to say you existed. Okay, this is so important to people that they want to have a sort of a signature in this world that we were here. Okay, so obviously in this, the way that things have been designed is the following: that now this is a system that male offsprings, they carry the name, the family name, not the females. Okay, and so and then things become so crazy that there are these people that in the Sunni they call him Sharif, and in the Shia they call him Sayyid. Okay, So these people are supposed to be the descendant of Fatima, okay? But Fatima did not carry the, the gene that is for male from the prophet, because the chromosome that comes in there is the Y chromosome, and Y chromosome comes from that. So in no way that person can be related to him. That's why Muhammad actually says that, okay? He says that none of you guys, the prophet is not the father of any of you guys, which is true, it's a fact, okay? But when it comes later on, the father has to be a Sayyid. What is going on? That person that becomes a Sayyid doesn't have, Ali didn't have the male chromosome of Prophet Muhammad. You see? And this is absolutely amazing. So the whole thing doesn't make any sense. Okay? The same thing in Jewish religion. The mother has to be Jewish. Well, if the mother is Jewish, then these people are not descendants of Israel. Just think about it a little bit. Okay? The whole thing is just a big farce. And people are fighting over it, killing each other, and all kinds of bad things going on in this world.
And what you have taught, I mean, when I look at it, when you teach us, I mean, you have been teaching us for years and decades now. And through the mathematics, you're showing us how God is trying to explain to us. I mean, the fact that He has assigned a number to everything, I mean, what more do you want? You already recognized. Right?
As I said, you have eternity already.
Already, yeah.
The argument that we had, okay? That even that small number has a number, okay?
Exactly, yeah. So I always think that we are insane. We are struck by insanity because of Satan. And today in the Jummah, what struck me a lot, I mean, I was almost in tears when you were explaining the mathematics. You were saying that, okay, no matter how complicated it is and difficult to follow, yet He has included everybody by just putting some signs where you add the digits and it becomes 19. That means He's being so kind that, look, all of you are included in these signs.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
It's irrelevant how intelligent you are or how dumb you are, as human beings say. If we don't understand something, they say we are dumb. It's not that. It is what God wants you to understand. You don't need to understand more than required.
Yes.
But the sign is from all spectrum. It can go to super intelligence or below intelligence like me. For me to see those digits, I mean, add to 19 is including me. I can understand that clearly. So that means God feels for all of us. I mean, what more do you want?
Exactly, yes.
I mean, if somebody comes to me and says he's super intelligent, he can explain to me the mathematics, that means nothing to me because God has already showed me the 19. The simple fact that God is God.
Yeah.
Because the mathematics is to show who God is and the glory of God. If I can understand with a simple thing the glory of God, that satisfies the function of the science, right? Because what are signs for to glorify God? That's it.
Exactly.
And this was so. The way you put it, that it's all inclusive, that brought me to tears in the prayers today. I mean, and I say, wow, I'm not missed. He is still communicating with each one of us. I mean, we all included. Doesn't matter if I understand better than somebody or less than somebody. It doesn't matter. God has included me. Yep. I exist, and I exist because He is. I mean, the way you put it is so beautiful. I mean, I've never met somebody like you who can explain through the numbers reality, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
MashaAllah. La quwwata illa billah.
Someone comes up, Dr. Fazely.
I'm sorry, who was this first one? Go ahead, please.
It's Karen. But that's okay.
Karen. Go ahead, Karen. Go ahead, please.
No, go ahead. No, Shakar can go first. It's okay.
No. Karen, you go ahead.
Okay. So I just want to say that I agree with Parvez about the including everyone in the understanding of the math, because I've never really looked at it like that before. And the other thing that you said during the khutbah, it was about just the time for during the week when you are at work and you're so busy and preoccupied or distracted or whatever it is. But then, and we've read that verse so many times about God tells you about attending the Friday prayer, and then after that you go and you seek His bounties.
Yep.
So, I mean, we've said it and we try to practice it, but I just felt it made such an impact today on me that, God is just asking you for this half an hour or 20 minutes or whatever from your busy work life. Just put aside this very small fraction of your work week. And I thought it was so beautiful that you mentioned it again for us to really pay attention that, it's just not a matter of, okay, I'm going to dial in because it's the time now. But, God really wants us to spend that time to focus on Him alone because we are so busy with everything else that we're doing. And it really hit me today because I do have a busy work day. And there are times when I am at work and I am, trying to dial in. And, my mind is listening to you, but then I have other things that I have to think about. But I just want to just kind of like say again that sometimes when you emphasize these things first, even though it's already in the Quran and we read it over and over year after year, just that reminder, just like the Quran says, the reminder benefits. So I just wanted to point that out.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Very good. Very good. Alhamdulillah.
Salam, Dr. Fazely.
Welcome, salam. Yes, go ahead, please, Shakira.
I just wanted to ask you a question that has been on my mind. Actually,
You are echoing. I can't understand anything, Shakira. There's something going on. Do you have it unmuted or something? Because it's ringing.
I'm unmuted now. Can you hear me now?
It's better now.
So what I was thinking is that at the time, do you remember that when Rashad translated this, he said that he was the messenger that is mentioned here. So I was thinking in this way. Maybe it is wrong, but I was thinking that every messenger comes with proof. Every messenger gives up something from the unseen, and the word is used here is messenger and not prophet. But also it clearly says about one messenger doing all of this. So, I was thinking that the proof that the messengers bring are part of who they are as a messenger, and that brings a lot more gravitas. Like you bring so much math to us. These are proofs that were hidden from us, and you are revealing them every week, which to me is really something that you are basically this verse actually gives proof of you being a messenger.
Yeah, I mean, of course, as I said, you look at this surah. I started with that, saying that this was completely outrageous for the people who received it. Okay, sun ruled away. It's meaningless. Okay, think about it. Okay, so today we have all these things that we know about, planets and stars and everything else. It still is heavy for us to understand these things, as I said, because we're bound with these within these laws. But in our case, I'm trying to tell you that, okay, because I grew up in a society, okay, that they have this two added. I don't know what they call it, column or something, or support or something, that you base your things based on these foundations, two foundations. One foundation is that it's called justice or adl, okay? And adl is the root for equations. Ma'adala means an equation, okay? And that God is one of them. God is not. That's the wrong understanding of what God is. Because creation is not based on equations. It's not based on conservation laws. Okay? And I try to explain that to people. Okay? And the other one, that you have to have imams. Okay? It doesn't say it in the Quran, obviously. So these are all things that were created after Prophet Muhammad was gone, and so they added these things. But my point is that what we have to do is we have to recognize these things, that these are all new information that we were not privy before. Okay? I am surprised when I understand these things in these ways. Okay? That's why, some people say, about cosmology, Big Bang, this and that, the other. I teach those stuff. Okay? That's part of the curriculum that goes on in the thing. These things do not answer questions. They create more questions. They are wrong. They're not correct. Okay? So quantum mechanics is not correct. These things are not correct because they're based on equations. So equations cannot, they are not Genesis. They are conservations. Okay? Genesis means there was nothing there and now there is something there. And only God can do that. And that based on the truth. Okay? It has to be the true things, the truth, then it is created. Okay? So that means that falsehood cannot create anything. That's what God says in the Quran. Okay? So equations cannot create it. So this is a new information that people didn't have before. Okay, and we do have it today. And again, as I say, I hope and pray to God that I can actually transmit these thoughts or this kind of understanding to everybody else, that they can pick it up. Okay? You do anything in this world, okay? Everything that, you do a blood test, okay? The blood test is based on some kind of balance. If those balances are all out of whack, then you get sick. You're sick, okay? So the same thing with chemistry, physics, everything that you do. We write equations. And these equations have to be balanced. That means one side has to be exactly equal to the other side. Okay? That does not hold for another realm that God is discussing with us outside that, and I just read all of these. And these things do not jibe with the thinking that we have. Okay? As I said here, in when the vacuum is ruptured. Okay? What was it? Okay.
So that is the reason why I am questioning this, that he does not withhold any news regarding the unseen. You fall in that category because you are a messenger, and you are acting.
As I said, God says that thing, that new information. Okay, but let me just tell you this. Forget about me. It doesn't matter. Thank God for having that information now. Okay, so that just happened. Okay, it just happened to be me. It's all right. It doesn't matter. Okay, it could be somebody else.
No, I understand that, but every messenger is bringing them something.
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. Again, you see, the thing is that I'm learning all the time, okay, from the Quran, and there is no end to learning. Okay, you and I and all of these other people that you see around us, okay, we were forbidden from witnessing the creation. That's what God says. Okay, so we didn't know. God gave us all this information. That he says he taught us all the names. The angels don't know the names. Okay? And again, a wrong fascination that people have with angels and stuff, that they want to be like angels. Okay? Why? They don't know these things. Why do you want to be like them? Okay? You were chosen to have this information that they don't have. Okay? So that was the key. But the point is that, so everybody has a piece of information, and that information is supposed to be relayed to everybody else, and they should just take it as is, and as these people did. Okay, so when he says, let me see, let's have 1 second. I can find it. Yeah. There it is. Okay, 11, verse 11. Okay, وَإِذَا السَّمَاءَ كُشِطَتْ. Okay, so when the vacuum is ruptured. Okay, again I said this. Okay, this is not because it's a balloon it blows up. Okay, that's what makes sense to us. But this is not it. This is when God comes, and that physical manifestation of God is completely destroys this world. The thing is that we see today of all of these things that we have around us would not exist in its proper way on the day of judgment because it's gone. Okay, so it's that where were we? Okay. And the stars stop shining. Okay. So do we have to wait until all the fuels in the stars finish? That's what it means. According to our thoughts, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's not it. Okay? The laws that were responsible for making a star do not exist anymore. So they become dark. Okay, they stop shining. Not because we have to wait until another 3 billion years for our sun to, or 5 billion years for our sun to run out of fuel. That's not what it means. Okay, that's the way we think. Okay? God says that hour will come suddenly. Okay? We don't know when it comes, and it's not supposed to happen someplace else, billions of light years away from here. It could happen right behind us. Okay, so all of these things that we see here, we have to look at it from point of view of what Quran is describing to us, not from reading this book or that book. That is, I'm just reading my teaching right now. I'm teaching high energy and particle physics and cosmology. So, this is outdated. When I look at it, all the numbers are, outdated. So the thing is that these things change all the time because those numbers were not wrong. Did you know that kilogram was redefined not too long ago, in 2019? Kilogram was redefined in terms of the so-called Planck's constant. Okay, so it's not a big chunk of thing. Okay, iridium, some alloy kept in some museum or something. Okay, and the replicas were distributed all over the world. That's not how it is anymore. It's now redefined. And we know what happened? Now that it's redefined, all the constants have changed. Okay? All of those things that you took as a constant are changing because of that. Okay? When the speed of light was redefined, okay, in that case, because meter was redefined. So when meter was redefined, then the speed of light changed. It became a whole number instead of having some digits. If you look at the physics book from 1970s, okay, then you notice that it's something then period, and then there are some decimals there because that was the way that they defined the meter, okay, and it was not correct. That definition of meter was not correct. So they redefined it. When they redefined it, the speed of light became a number, a whole number, in terms of meters per second. So all of these things that are happening is that, as I said, this is how we are taught, that's how we brought, that's how we think. Quran tells us, think differently. That's what he says. That's what God is telling us. This is the truth. I'm telling you the truth here. And so we have to learn it that way.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fazely.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? Any other comments or question, observations?
I have something, Dr. Fazely.
Yes, go ahead, please. Yes, yes, by all means, go ahead.
Today you were saying that, as I understood it, that we were afraid of dying because we're away from God. But
Yes.
then the believers, they when they die, they don't just lay there like the disbelievers. That God takes them. I don't guess it necessarily has to be whether paradise is available now or later. I think just being close to God itself is a paradise in itself. And
Exactly.
when I remember it had been quite some time ago. I don't know if you remember the question my brother asked you was when we die, does time stop? Is that the end of time? Each time someone dies, and I kind of think, well, for each person, God is not. You said God doesn't have to be patient. Whatever He's done, He's already done it. So all this that we're waiting for has already been experienced. Even if it's hell that was made or paradise is available. The questions I always ask, well, when did it happen? All that's already done. So the best that I'm looking at for me is to stop asking all my silly questions and just be concerned about doing whatever I can to make that closeness be possible. Like you said, learning the math, staying steadfast with the believers, and being a part of what we're doing here. And that's what's important. And praising God, of course, comes with each question, not whether or not it happened yesterday, today, what we're going to do, if we're going to have milk and honey, whatever. Those things are just words that keep us occupied. But the real truth is what we're learning now, and it's just a few of us. So we tend to bounce off of each other, and I'm just glad to. I almost want to say that I'm afraid that I can't believe it's even me that's hearing this and being a part of this. That I'm happy and scared, but thankful and pleased, and I'm less concerned now about whether or not I'm going to have what's that drink, salsa or whatever. I just want to make it,
The spring, yes.
Yeah, because I'm afraid, and I'm not afraid to die. I'm afraid to be nowhere or not with God, or because
that's exile. That's the exile I was trying to say. Yeah,
that you said today.
Yeah, but if you go back again to chapter 67, he says that He created death and life, and then He immediately gave us life again, which is part of His being. You see,
yes.
God is the living. Okay, so He gave us this beautiful attribute that He has. He gave it to us. Okay, and that is amazing. That's absolute generosity. So, then He pulled us back again to Himself. See, that's the beauty of it. We were sent to exile, okay, and then we were pulled back again from the midst of all of that mess that we created for ourselves.
We did. Well, since we also are concerned about time here, when we're not concerned there, is that we got to remember too that the time springs back. Not to forget whatever we're supposed to do in terms of our prayers coming up. I think it's Saturday.
Yeah, inshallah. Yeah, inshallah. Sunday you have to start fasting, inshallah. So. Yeah.
And the time springs back. So what do we do with the time springing forward, rather?
Nothing. That doesn't affect you at all. It's you mean for the Friday prayers? It's going to be an hour later, or when you it's going to be 1 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock your time. I think your time is going to be 2 o'clock.
Yes, because we do.
Eastern time, so it's going to be 2 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock. And people in Central Zone, it's going to be 1 o'clock, just like us here. And then Mountain on daylight saving or not? I mean, Arizona, I don't think is on daylight saving. I think they all are always on standard time. But I'm not sure. Is anybody from Arizona on tonight?
Yes, we don't have any.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are on standard time all the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So yours would not change. But anyway, now yours would change too, doesn't it? Yeah, because we have to No, it won't change. Okay. And then California, it's going to be an hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mine will change so much that I guess I have to do Zohar prayer. Not the noon prayer, rather. Sorry, the noon prayer.
Fine. That would be fine. There's no problem.
Okay. And then listen to the Juma afterwards.
Inshallah. Yeah. I mean, this is just we're just spreading the information that we have, and
we're saving our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, like the rest of the people, I give you a hard time somewhere in my soul. I feel like I am, but I appreciate you, and I'm sorry if I do. I just really appreciate you, even though I don't somewhat sound like I do, but I really in my heart do, Dr. Fazely.
MashaAllah. Very good. And the other thing is, I want to wish everybody a happy Ramadan and have a blissful one, and inshallah. And as I said, that we should make sure that we are on our best behavior this month, and all of the good things that God is telling us to do, all the instructions we have to follow, and the things that He tells us not to do, we should not do it, and so follow His commandments, and also make sure that as I said, is that you are cheerful and everything, and it's as Jesus says in the Bible, He said they disfigure their faces so their fasting will be seen by men. Okay, then He says that you should wash your faces and oil your hair, so your fasting will be only seen by God, who can see everything. So that's the key. So that's what we have to remember. Okay, and we have to follow God and His messenger. Let's put it that way. Okay. All right. So let's quit for tonight. Okay, and inshallah next week we'll be all fasting, and so we'll do 3 al-Fatihas. We had a request, urgent request from somebody, so we'll do that, and so we're going to do 3 al-Fatihas tonight. Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم